Happy holidays, everybody. My name is Alckemy. Today we are going to be giving a slight or small introduction, rather, to complex modulation within the realm of faceplant. I like faceplant and I use it in just about everything that I make. Like almost 100% of my tracks are actually faceplant because of the versatility that it offers. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get more complex sounds with using minimal effects. So the first thing that we're going to need is probably just, I don't know, some kind of generator. Maybe we can create a respace or something of the sort and play a low register. Yay. Now the biggest thing that we want to do is just give some kind of movement to this, and so we can really just grab a filter or something and make this move on its own with the modulator. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab an envelope now, and we will create a pluck by adding this little orange thing to here. And if you have Faceplant 2.0, which everyone should, then you can see where everything is guided. So whenever I hit this, it's going to kind of move this, and we can adjust this. Now that we have this, it's pretty much the basic concept of what a modulator does in the first place. It allows you to have moving parts without you having to physically touch them, whereas with automation, you have to make the movement happen by hand. So if I were to take the cutoff and map it to a macro, then I would record a note and then go into the automation and do that, which it has its purpose for certain things, but for the most part, especially when it comes to bass, I like to make it move on its own. So likewise, within that, one cool thing that we can do is grab a randomizer, and you can actually modulate your modulators. So I'm going to grab the little plus button here and then go into this little trigger thing right here, which is the trigger input. And you'll see that every once in a while, if I just hold the note down, then you'll notice that at certain points this will trigger. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit more dramatic, and then I'm going to raise the speed. So now this is already starting to move on its own. One thing about using randomizers on triggers is I would make it unipolar, because sometimes if it's both up and down in this way, then you see that it won't trigger nearly as often, which can be useful if you want it to not go as fast. But for this, I want this to be a little bit quicker, especially because, well, I want it to be noticeable. So within this, something else that we can do is we can adjust certain things within the parameters here. For example, we can grab another randomizer, maybe set this to smooth, and we will pull up the decay. So now whenever the decay adjusts, it's going to make the tail either longer or shorter. And this one I'm going to actually leave to be bipolar here. Let's go ahead and turn the speed up, and you're not going to see what's happening visually here, but take a look at what's going to happen. And this is great because if you're wanting to have specific movement or randomized movement, or maybe unconventional rhythms with a specific sound, this is just one way that you can get a bunch of different pieces to move together without with only holding down a single button. So to kind of finish this up, a couple things that you can do is maybe just add some saturation. You can add a limiter. We could stereoize this if we want to with either some mid-side processing or some multiband processing. For example, you might want to add some chorus to this, and then maybe a saturator just to bring out some of the highs again. And this is what you got. So one more thing that we can do just for fun is we can add in one of my favorite things, which is a note. And what this is going to do is whenever the pitch is played either higher or slower, it's going to pretty much dictate like a parameter value. And so long story short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to modulate this to the speed of the first randomization, because whenever I play a higher note, it's going to make the speed increase, which is going to trigger the frequency of the envelope. And then when I play a lower note, it's going to slow it down. You can set your root note right here to whatever you want. I was playing F, so we're just going to find F1. And then we're going to set the range to 24. And this is just how, it's pretty much a scale, right? So over the course of 24 notes, it's going to play a value of negative 100 to 0 to 100. So if I play a F, it's going to be at neutral. If I play a low F, you can see that it's halfway there. If I play a higher F, it's going to be at neutral. So now whenever we have this, it also works with the pitch bend. We can pretty much use this to kind of play around with cool, like, I don't know, multi-polyrhythm type things whenever you layer this with other instruments. Kind of sounds like a what is that instrument? Like those pipes that you have with the paddle. But anyways, that's pretty much how you can get into complex modulation and stuff. And this is just barely scratching the surface. If you guys are interested in this stuff, I've got tons of videos either on my channel, or I've got masterclasses for the ARCANUM members about how to do crazy stuff like this for basses. Just as a quick example, this is kind of something that I do almost every day on stream, but you can see that within the modulation, you can get absolutely crazy stuff with this, to where everything's kind of working together in pieces. But these are also available on my website at alckemy.com. So if you find this stuff interesting, be sure to like and subscribe, and happy holidays, everybody.